And now, for the next few minutes, as the Doak burns. As the Doak burns will not be seen tonight, so that we may bring you this special presentation. The Irish have returned home to the University of Our Lady Notre Dame to take on their longtime rivals, the Florida State Seminoles. Most season, a matchup between these two would be a legendary and glorious occasion. However, those words have long been replaced with disappointing, disastrous, and laughingstock. The Seminoles, who have long veered off God's path, are paying the steepest price for being transfer first and player development second. A disastrous season marked with losses on 2 continents, an offense who is among the absolute worst in the country, and a stadium reduced to cinders. The Seminoles were last seen the week before, getting tarred and feathered by North Carolina for the first time in Mack Brown's coaching tenure. There is usually some hope amongst teams for coming into Notre Dame Stadium and stealing a win from our beloved Irish, but that is not the case today. Notre Dame's Fighting Irish are back to being the cream of the crop in college football. After getting their asses bit by some Huskies from NIU, they have come roaring back, dominating every single opponent in their way. Not even a brutal takedown by some D-list YouTuber who has strayed from the path of God can stop God's favorite team this season. Except that one game against Louisville that was a really close one. Riley Leonard has also hit his stride after a slow start, throwing only 1 interception in his last 4 games. There is no doubt in the air at all as the Irish tap that sign and take the field of who will win this day. The only question is by how much.
Inside the red zone, Leonard down the sideline, Leonard airborne, touchdown! What an effort from the quarterback.
Raritan, the tight end in motion. Price the handoff up the middle.
Oh, there goes Price. He's got speed. Price, can he beat him to the end zone? No, he's out of bounds.
Review, the ball carrier was not out of bounds. It's a touchdown.
By Riley Leonard. First and goal. It is Love. Denied at first, but not at second. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
Subbing at Purdue. 10th play of the drive for Florida State. Glenn.
Picked off. Step right in front. Luke Tullich. Can he go? Foot race. Glenn won't catch him. Touchdown. Pick 6, Notre Dame.
This was another glorious victory for Notre Dame. An obvious and glorious win from start to finish. The Irish will now welcome the Cavaliers of Virginia into Notre Dame Stadium before a showdown with Army. Stay tuned next week for another episode of The Young and the Irish. I don't think the game was ever in doubt. Florida State was defeated the second the plane landed in South Bend. But this was the final nail in the coffin for the Noles in so many ways. Let's start with the offense. The only thing they did all night was a 16-play, 75-yard drive in the first quarter that resulted in a field goal. That's all they could scrape together as the Irish defense demolished the Florida State so-called offensive attack and were then shut down the rest of the night. This is not just bad at this point. This season is a famine of scoring for touchdowns for the Seminoles. If you play for Florida State and you score a touchdown, keep the ball. It doesn't happen often. I think this is the time we fully explain just how bad this offense is. So let's look at the numbers and compare it to a team with no wins and who most look at as one of the absolute worst teams in the nation. Kent State. Florida State averages 13.5 points scored per game. Compare that to Kent State, who averages 14.9 points per game. Florida State is dead last in the FBS in this category. The Seminoles have a total of 135 points scored on 14 touchdowns. Kent State has scored 149 points on 20 touchdowns. The only reason why this is close for the Seminoles is thanks to their kicker. The Seminoles have 1,784 total passing yards. Kent State has 1,547. The Seminoles have 805 rushing yards. Kent State has 753. The Seminoles have thrown 8 touchdown passes and 13 interceptions. Kent State has thrown 15 touchdown passes and 11 interceptions. Florida State has allowed their quarterback to get sacked 38 times. Kent State has allowed 34. Top to bottom, the Seminoles either have similar or worse stats on offense as the Kent State Golden Flashes. And I'll mention, Kent State played a much tougher non-conference schedule than Florida State by a fucking mile. Defense, oh man, that defense. You like sacks? 24 all season. Not that bad, right? Well, compared to the only team you have beaten this season, Cal, they have 29 sacks total. They also have 17 interceptions to their name. Florida State, how about 2? Yes, 2. A pair, a set, a duo, a kimbo. Do I need to say it in another language for you to fucking comprehend this? I do? Okay, fuck it, then I will. Florida State's defense only has 2 interceptions. La defensa del estado de Florida tiene solo 2 intercepciones. La defense de Etat de Florida en que de interceptions. Florida Republique defensio duas tantum intercepciones. Abet. Florida. Shiritsu. Daigaku. No shubujin no intercepto. Watukai. Nomidesu. Fulud lida. Zhao dao shi. De Fang Shou, Jiu Liang Chilan Xie, Die Vertutigung des Bundesstaats, Florida hat nur zwei Interceptions. Right, so how is this different from another LOL Florida State bad video? This is why I, the narrator, have completely lost my fucking mind watching this team now. It's so bad. My voice grows deeper every week we do this shit, but I have to do it or else I'll be sent to the gulag by order of the Red Army. The Florida State Seminoles are now staring down the barrel of a 10-loss season. There is no hope left in Tallahassee as the forced march on this trail of tears nears its ultimate conclusion. However, some of those who led this team to start the season will not survive to finish it. This was a no-shit decision by Coach Norvell. This defense has had its bright spots here and there, but they are too few and far in between. They forced a total of 3 turnovers at this point in the season, which is inexcusable. The only thing that they were good at was keeping Florida State's offense off the field. Their own team, while their opponents drove the ball right up their ass. Duggan was a holdover from the Willie Taggart era and a former player at Florida State. While he proved himself to be competent and built the wide receiver core for the Noles into one of the best in college football last season, the results from this season were too much to survive. It's not like they are all scrubs. Ja'Kai Douglas and Malik Benson were touted as potentially top wideouts coming into this season. You could argue the quarterback situation being so bad also didn't help, but the sword strikes him down regardless. This guy has a lot of potential, taking one of the worst offensive lines and turning it into a brick wall. Leading the offense last year to an undefeated season is a great accomplishment. Then the wheels flew off the wagon and subsequently burst into flames. The Noles haven't scored 21 points in their last 12 games. I once again point to the stats from earlier. This can't fucking happen in a top-level program, ever. He was loyal to the end, and even falling on the sword for the NIL recruiting scandal that broke earlier this year. I'd say he will land on his feet, but he has a 2-year show cause penalty against him for the scandal, aka he's out when it comes to college. As for the head man, Mike Norville, he told the media he made the decision himself. Takes full responsibility. Fair enough on that, but he's lucky Florida State extended him and they don't have Texas A&M money to buy his ass out of the contract. Otherwise, he'd be on the street with them by now. No matter what, the Noles are stuck with him for the long haul, and nothing is going to prevent that. Unless...
So this is really all your fault. You destroyed everything.
Yes.
Charleston Southern, I ask you, no, I beg you, I implore you to please do everything in your power to make this happen. Yes, I know you are also 1-9, but listen, damn it. You have a power that a team like Florida doesn't have. You fucking suck. And not just that, but you fucking suck at the FCS level. If you find the way, find Mike's secret stuff, the fucking genie from Aladdin, and beat the Florida State Seminoles next Saturday, I can promise you 3 things. That your season will be saved from being 1-10. That Florida State will be forced to fire their head coach and free themselves of this hell. Unless they want an actual fucking riot in Doak Campbell Stadium by all the pissed off Florida men after. And I will buy Charleston Southern merch and wear it on a live stream. Choice is yours, boys. As the Buccaneers descend with powder and ball, ready to loot and pillage the Doak, we have run out of time this week as the Doak burns. Please win, Charleston Southern. It would be so goddamn funny.